On October 30th, 1938, at 8 p.m. Eastern, over the CBS radio network, there was a radio broadcast of the H.G. Wells novel War of the Worlds. This broadcast is known for creating mass panic, as um, a lot of people called in, and a lot of people started filling the streets of their towns, thinking that the alien invasion was real. I'm going to read to you here something here. This comes from Wikipedia. It says the show went on air shortly after 8 p.m. At 8:32, Hausman noticed Taylor step out of the studio to take a phone call in the control room, who returned 4 minutes later looking, quote, pale as death. He had been ordered to immediately interrupt the War of the Worlds broadcast with an announcement of the program's fictional content. By the time the order was given, the fictional news reporter, played by Ray Collins, was choking on poison gas as the quote unquote Martians overwhelmed New York, and the program was less than a minute away from its first scheduled break, which proceeded as previously planned. Actor Stefan Schnabel recalled sitting in the anteroom after finishing his on-air performance. Quote, a few policemen trickled in, then a few more. Soon the room was full of policemen, and a massive struggle was going on between the police, page boys, and CBS executives who were trying to prevent the cops from busting in and stopping the show. It was a show to witness. During the sign-off theme, the phone began ringing. Hausman picked it up, and furious caller announced he was the mayor of a Midwestern town where mobs were in the streets. Hausman hung it up quickly, quote, if or we were off the air now, and the studio door had busted open. I'm talking about this because this, to me, is the first known instance of analog horror. Um, and what is analog horror? Well, analog horror um, is a subgenre of horror fiction and an offshoot of the found footage genre. It's said to have originated online during the late 2000s, early 2010s, with web series such as No Through Road, Local 58, which you'll see some of here in a minute, Gemini Home Entertainment, and Marble Hornets. Um, Films such as found footage, it's basically a spin-off of found footage. The Ring, the Blair Witch Project, David Lynch's Island Empire. They heavily influenced No Through Road and Petscop, which are known analog horror. Basically, what analog horror does is uses a combination of there's very little jump scares, and um, it instead uses like old found footage, VHS tapes, old video games I've seen as a way of creeping out the audience. Now, why am I bringing this up on a channel that primarily focuses on pro wrestling? Well, right now we have the Uncle Howdy campaign going on, or NightBird campaign, um, which has been using VHS tapes. White Rabbit, before it, when Bray Wyatt returned, used Hangman, a video game. It also used there was one video game segment where you had to maneuver the rabbit through the door. Um, Inside the arenas of the wrestling shows, White Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit would play, and a red light would come on when the lyric "Remember" was sang. For Nightbird, the Nightbird song would play, and the deeper we got into the campaign, the more distorted the Nightbird song would become. The lights would flicker on and off, static would play. Um, I found out about this genre though not through Nightbird. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cite a couple of references here. The first one I'm going to play is basically where we find out that throughout the Nightbird campaign, we were introduced to a therapist, or the sexy shrink, as I've dubbed her. There was newspaper clippings found about a therapist going missing. Then we saw the video of the therapist, a therapy session with who we believe to be Bo Dallas and this therapist. And then it cut to the after, once it found out, hey, do you want to meet them? It cut to the newspaper article, and people were speculating. Did the therapist, quote unquote, survive the attack? Well, we then got this piece of analog horror footage that was basically a TMZ style broadcast. Let's take a look at this.
Thank you to everybody who voiced so much concern about me being missing. Honestly, I'm surprised everyone was so worried. I was completely fine and never in any danger. I'm just thankful he set me free.
That right there is a prime example of analog horror. Um, I'm going to draw some parallels to this and the other campaign. Here is a video from. I stumbled upon this. This was released 2 years ago, but I just happened to stumble upon it the other day. There's a popular YouTuber named Linkara, aka his real name is Lewis Lovehawk, and if you've ever watched Atop the Fourth Wall, then you know who Linkar is, or if you're a fan of the Nostalgia Critic, you know who Linkar is. Um, he did a analog horror film that he split up over into about at least 4 or 5 parts. I think maybe 6, called The Winter of '83. And what The Winter of '83 is, apparently a college-funded group of scientists who is working in the basement, who are working in the basement of an old mansion in Fawn Circle, Minnesota, which is not a real town, happen to stumble upon an alien being. And the alien being can basically hack the local channel 83 public access station, or whatever you want to call it. Here's a clip from Winter of '83, and we'll come back and discuss the parallels between that and the NightBird campaign.
This is William Ferris, coming to you from Channel 83's Weather Forecast Center. We're sorry to interrupt Dusty Harp's history of jazz, but the state of Minnesota has officially declared a severe weather warning to the following counties. Do not attempt to leave your current location. The blizzard's intensity is harsh, and the temperature is expected to drop into the negatives. Snowplows and salting vehicles are currently working to clear the roads, and it's considered dangerous to attempt to drive in these conditions. We are expecting a whopping 20 inches of snow from this blizzard, and the less people there are on the roads, the easier it will be for emergency services to get around and do their jobs. Fawn Circle is expected to get hit particularly hard, so if you're not home already, please hole up in whatever shelter you can find and try to ride out the storm. Do not attempt to step outside tonight. We will return you to our regular programming in a moment, but we'll keep the weather warning display on the bottom of your screen until the current emergency is... We're sorry to interrupt. We're sorry to interrupt. Leave your current location. Step outside. We will return you to the snow. The storm is shelter. The storm is home. Step outside. Tonight, the storm is coming for you.
You will be like us.
So you can see there are some parallels here between the Winter of '83 and the style of the NightBird campaign. Here's an example. Just to draw a little more of a parallel. Here is a clip from the NightBird campaign.
I love this game. Hello? Hello?
Here's another clip from, again, we're drawing parallels between NightBird and other analog horror. Here's another clip from the winter of '83, where the creator and director Louis Lovehog, aka Linkara, has taken an actual city council meeting and dubbed over it to fit his narrative that he wants to tell. Also, pay attention because not everything is as it seems.
Calling this meeting of the Fawn Circle City Council for January 4th, 1983 to order. Roll call. Thank you, Eric. It's our practice to begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the chambers of the Fawn Circle City Council. We have a lot of business to go over today, so I suppose we should just get right to it. The most urgent matter, of course, is the blizzard that's going to hit our fine little city and the rest of the western part of the state. The current weather forecast says we'll have heavy snowfall tonight, a lull in the storm in the afternoon tomorrow for a couple hours, but then we're going to get hit with another 10 inches of snow. Now, we've put in a request to Minneapolis to send us some additional snowplows, but they haven't gotten back to us yet. In case they don't send them, let's get the word out to people to stay calm and not start hoarding food from the supermarket shelves. We'll have it all cleared away in a day or two afterward. Councilman Brilling, you said you had something you wanted to bring up with this?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to consider purchasing at least 2 new snow plows. Obviously, we won't be able to use them for this blizzard, but the current plows are 15 years old and starting to get a bit sluggish. In fact, I suspect that day or two you mentioned may be more like 3 days, given how they operated on the storm a few weeks ago. Several businesses along Mendota Street said they lost some potential Christmas business because of it.
Do we have a second for that motion?
Second.
All right, Councilman Brilling, please put together a full proposal along with a recommendation for where to buy them from, and we'll vote on it next week.
Will do.
Next on the agenda, a representative from the U of M campus was going to discuss the restoration work at Scotts Manor and potentially request for funding and labor with the project. Is the representative present? Alrighty, if the representative comes in later during the meetings, let them know they can approach the podium and we'll return to them. Next,
Yeah, so you can definitely see the parallels here. Here is another one that I found. This is from Local 58 TV. Look them up on YouTube. And this is called A Look Back. And you can definitely see parallels here between this and the style of the NightBird campaign.
Your destination has moved.
That's crazy stuff right there as well. The NightBird campaign, as well as White Rabbit before it, definitely drew inspiration from this genre, and it's continuing as we got VHS footage and VHS videos delivered the last 2 weeks on Monday Night Raw by the bride. The bride herself was also featured in some of these videos, pointing, much as she did when they debuted 3 or 4 weeks ago. I hope this keeps up. I want to see more of this kind of stuff in WWE. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that they? I personally think that this right here. I won't say it's Emmy worthy because I don't think they'll ever be nominated for an Emmy, but it's definitely brilliant, brilliant marketing on behalf of Bo Dallas and Rob Fee, who is the director of character development for WWE. It's developed these characters beautifully. It's kept us wanting more every week, clinging to our phones and to our screens for more and more information about the Wyatt Six. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Can you see the parallels? Have you watched any more analog horror? Did you watch The Winter of '83? Do you think we'll get a sequel? Maybe The Winter of '84? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll see you down the road.